Like when I went overseas, you mean?
Well, yeah. Tell us
My
about.
sort of story about when I went over.
Well, start from the beginning.
Yeah, well, okay.
And how you were, why you
I had
chose to go that
overseas,
way.
you know, and they started out from North Carolina, I guess it was, Virginia, right in that area. We had a Liberty ship, and I used to work on those Liberty ships too. About before the war.
What was that?
Oh. It was a Kaiser. It was made by Kaiser Company, a Liberty ship, and I worked as a not as a welder, but as a burner. I burned out V's in the plates so that the welder could come along and weld them up, you know. Okay, and I did that over there. But then I started out on the Liberty ship, and then we went over to England in a convoy. We were in on a many ships convoy, you know, and there were soldiers going over, and then we had submarines with us, and we had aircraft, you know, overhead.
The whole convoy.
We had destroyers with us. We had protecting the convoy, you know.
Where were you riding? On the ship?
On the ship, yeah. Going over to Liverpool from America, yeah. So then we went over there, I don't know. Well, actually, I missed out on D-Day by about a month.
Really?
D-Day, they started on June, I think, in June 44 probably. And I missed that. I just got out of that one, but then we were on our way, you know, and we had all these aircraft and everything with us. Because they had a lot of German submarines, and they were knocking off our ships, you know, going over, so they had to, you know, try to protect us. But anyway, we got over there to Liverpool, and then we got on a train. That, by the way, Liverpool is where Robert Long's girl is from, his wife is from.
Oh.
She came over from Liverpool.
Really?
Anyway, we went from there, we got on a train, and went over towards London, and there's a place there that we landed at near Membury Air Base over there, and ours was Newbury. Anyway, we were there, and then we got new planes, you know. We got our C-47s over there. I hadn't flown those yet, but I had multi-engine practice, you know, and cadets, you know, and stuff.
Oh.
But then we got those planes, and we practiced with them somewhat, and then I became a co-pilot for this other pilot, you know. And, well, we just flew over from England to France and Germany from there. And we went over on, you know, we did all kinds of stuff. We went maybe parachute, we dropped paratroopers, you know, and then we pulled gliders. We pulled 1 or 2 gliders. We did pull up to 2 gliders, and we had a short tow and a long tow, they called it. It was long nylon ropes, and they're real strong, you know.
Yeah.
About that big around. And, so, and then also we got 5-gallon jerry cans, and we hauled over a plane full of gas. Over to General Patton. He was running across Germany, and we had to keep up. So that's what happened there. And then also we used a lot of, we did a lot of things bringing a lot of stuff over, not just gasoline, but other things too, as well as wounded, brought back wounded. And then we'd have a flight nurse with us, and we had litters on the side of our planes built in, you know, here, here, and here, and here, all the way up. And then after the war, we took back a lot of wounded from the Hitler camps, you know. Mm-hmm. They were all skin and bones, you know. Not much left.
Right.
Yeah, and then we went on a lot of, you know, dropping paratroopers, like over the Rhine and over Bastogne and, well, different places.
Where were you stationed?
Well, I was
Most-
stationed over there in in England, about 60 miles west of London, something like that. And then we were there for quite a while, and then later on we moved our whole squadron over by planes we had over to France, about 30, 50 miles from Paris, probably, something like that. And when we were stationed there, and we'd fly out of there, first we made many trips over the English Channel, because we had so many trips over there.
Yeah.
And then after that, well, then we went back, we were over to France and operated out of there. And then we had a couple of big ones at Bastogne and over the Rhine. Those were two big ones, and over in Belgium and Holland and over there by that way. But well, if you remember Bastogne, that was a general there that, remember what he said to the Germans when they asked him if he would surrender? He said, General McCulloch, he said, nuts. Yeah.
But that was that Army? Were you Army then, or Air Force?
No, I was Army Air Force, Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps.
See, they didn't have an Air Force then.
Right. I didn't think so.
Army Air Corps. It was run by the Army, but it was a division of the Army Air Corps.
Yeah.
That's what I was in, yeah.
But going back then, I mean, how did you enlist, or why did you enlist?
Okay, well, I knew I was going to be drafted.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a draft number and everything.
Yeah.
They were getting drafting orders and stuff. So I said, well, I was in college then at the time anyway. I said, well, I think I'll enlist and get into something I want to get into. So I enlisted for the Air Corps.
Oh, okay.
So I did, and then I got in the Air Corps,
But that's where you had most of your flight training then?
In the Air Corps.
Was the Air Corps?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we went to cadets, First thing I went into Jefferson Barracks, Missouri. That's where we had our Army regular basic training,
Yeah.
Got all,
Just get the basics.
guns and marching and all that jazz. And then after that, we went to Santa Ana, California for our primary training. It was ground school really for flying, So we had a ground school there. And then we went from there, to Michigan State College over there at East Lansing, Michigan. I went there for a few months, and of course I'd had a lot of that stuff. I was in college before, a year and a half anyway, before I went in, so, but then we got a lot of, discipline there, and stuff, You know how it goes. You go up there and make your bed, and then you got to have it real tight so the guy comes along with a quarter and throws it up, and it's got to bounce so high, all that kind of jazz. And above there you got to have no dust above there, and no dust and all kinds of stuff like that. And then they try to, make it tough for you, sort of. And then we had square meals, like this, set attention, like this so far back, and then eat, square meals. They call them square meals. The whole time, looking straight ahead, you can't shift your arms around. Okay, and then they say, okay, rest, okay, get up, ho. All kinds of jazz, and that's cadets, And then where you went, and then if you got so many demerits, you get about 7 demerits because you didn't dust, you didn't do this, don't do that. Then you have to walk a tour on the tennis court with a rifle at attention, rifle on your shoulder, and then going, straight ahead at attention, all walking around like that, all around the tennis court for an hour. One demerit,
Yeah.
2 demerits, another hour. Some guys were walking their tours even after they got their commission. I just wanted to walk maybe 1 hour, that's all I had. the whole way, so I was okay.
Perfect.
Never got caught.
Shoo. Yeah,
There you
right.
go. Anyway,
Pass that
that's
one.
the way it was, you know. But that
Yeah.
was, you know, before we went in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we did, you know, like I say, we took a lot of stuff over there. And when we came into the Rhine, that was over the Rhine, that was a big operation, man. That was a big one because we had planes, you know, we came in fairly low, you know,
Yeah.
with our stuff. We were dropping paratroopers and stuff, and some maybe resupply and stuff like that. And then you know, when we came in, the first we saw was a C-47, like I was flying, in a loop. He had been shot and he was on fire, and he made a complete loop and went straight down. I said, "Oh, this is going to be tough."
Oh, man.
But you know, you never saw so many planes in your life because we were over in France, you know, and we had to go way over to cross the line, Rhine in Germany, and there was all kinds of stuff going on, of course. But we were at that altitude, and then we had fighters above us again, and then bombers above them. We had 3 of them going in, 3 of them, here, here, and here. You never saw so many airplanes in all your life.
Yeah.
Because we could took off and we saw the people coming back already. So we saw all the trip all the way over Germany. These guys were coming back. We could say, "Oh, there they go, there they go." It was just like a circle.
Yeah.
There's that many planes from France to Germany, 3 high.
It's air traffic.
You never see that many in your life.
Gotta watch out where you're
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, anyway, so that's what happened there.
But you guys were flying at the lowest. You guys were flying like
Wow,
what,
we were down there
12,000?
pretty low, you know. So
How far up?
maybe 500 feet. Or something.
Off the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, that's low.
Oh, yeah.
What told
500,000 feet, maybe, depending upon if you were going to drop paratroopers. or not.
Right, right.
And they didn't want to drop them high because they didn't want to be in the air much, so they
Yeah.
shoot them.
Yeah.
Shoot them up. See, so they didn't want it. They were the lowest you could possibly go with them, but still open, you know, and get down okay.
Yeah.
And same way with the gliders, you know, they didn't want to be sitting on ducks up there,
No.
you know, so we came in pretty low a lot of times. So, you know.
How did you do how many people were in the gliders?
Oh, I can't remember for sure, but I suppose there were maybe 10, something like that. But then they were fully loaded, you know.
Yeah.
They were so loaded they could hardly walk. They had stuff all over their backs. You know, when they landed, they had to get out and, you know, get there, get going.
Yeah.
And of course the parachuters here, they were just, you know, they were loaded too, but they didn't, you know, they floated down. Had to get rid of the parachutes and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the others, you know, and well, some of the fields had sort of those hedgerows too in them, you know, so some of them smashed into the hedgerows, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
it was a mess anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
we didn't stick around long.
No.
we had
Get in and
they
get
they
out.
released them, you know, from our long ropes, nylon ropes. We had a long toe and a short toe, you know, and then they released them themselves so that we were carrying them behind on our planes. But so what we did is we dumped them in a forest on the way back.
Oh.
Those ropes, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to drag
we-
them around then.
We released them from the plane, but then they released when they went down. Of course, they naturally released first.
Yeah.
Came off, you know.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's.
Back and forth and back and
And
forth.
then we had a lot of other things, you know, we'd resupply with, you know, and all kinds of stuff.
Well, you have to tell us about the takeoff with the gliders that you missed when you were.
Well, the gliders, you know, as I say, we were going down the runway, and the guy in front, he was our commander officer. You know, he didn't have much runway left, but how he ever got off is beyond me. But we had a long tow and a short tow, you know, so one would get off first, and then he'd go, and then the other one would get off later, and then they were both off. We were still low on the ground, of course. So we got them off as quick as we could, so we could get off, you know, and take off. Then and we had everything wide open, you know, full rich mixture and full props, full everything, you know.
Yeah.
So we had our propeller, we had our gas here for our power, and then we had the other one for RPMs, you know, and we had those all forward, you know, when you take off. So you get a real high pitch, real low pitch, I should say, with you know, a lot of power.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, you know.
Jeez. Wow. Yeah. Well, then one time you had a little accident with the propeller, I heard.
Oh, that was before. I mean, that wasn't even in combat. But I was about the closest I got killed.
That was overseas, though?
That was on our base over there.
Okay.
Yeah, in France. And well, what happened is I was a co-pilot then, you know, and then we had my pilot, and he had a friend from America that was in the ATC, Air Transport Command, that's what it was. And he would fly planes from America over to France. That was his job, that's all he did.
Oh, the new ones.
Fly new ones over there so they could get them, because they were losing a lot of them. So they had to replace them.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was a friend of his anyway. So and he said, well, maybe he came over to visit him, and he said, well, maybe we should, you know, we'll take you up, and you can get in a co-pilot seat. And so I got out of my seat, and he got in there, and he says, well, the only thing is, he told him, well, usually many times we take off, we pull up our gear fairly soon because we want to get airborne. So, but he did it too quick. We mushed back into the runway, and I was in between them right here, you know, because he was here and here, and I was right here. And I said, oh, there's no place for me. So I turned around and go in the cabin, and just when I turned around, the prop came right through where I was standing. I was cut right in half, you know. It was a matter of half a second. I was that close. You know, it was just lucky, you know.
Oh,
just luck.
Gosh.
So it was.
Did
But
you...
anyway, the good part about it is I didn't have to write it up because I wasn't in the seat. The other two guys had to. I was back here in the
Yeah, it wasn't me. Were you able to land with the landing gear or on the belly then? Because the landing gear was up,
right?
right?
The landing gear was up.
So you just...
See, he pulled it up too quick, see?
Yeah.
So we mushed back into the runway. Well, of course, the wheels were, you know, sticking out a little bit, but they weren't, you know, they weren't right, you know, but it was so down, it went down so far that the props hit the ground, see?
Yeah.
And they were just in line with me, see? The pilots hit up here, and the engines were back here, see? And I was standing here right in line with the propellers.
Oh.
So that's why I got out. I just, there's no place for me, and I just went and did that. I went right through. That was the closest I had. Even in combat, it wasn't that close. We did have steel plates under our seats about that thick, just in case of some rifle fire coming up. And then we had a pistol. We had a 45 here in case we got shot down, you know. That's all we had, though. That's all we had is this and our steel plate under there. Except the commanding officer, he's the only one that had self-sealing gas tanks.
Oh.
They were self-sealing gas tanks. On just the commander's plane. We didn't. Nobody else had it.
Self-sealing how?
Well, because that's the way they made them. There was some kind of, if they got shot, they automatically sealed up by this liquid.
Huh.
and sealed it.
Mhm.
So when flew out and have fire, you know.
Right.
But that was just coming in then, you know, about that time. And
Right.
not everybody had them. They just a few
Right.
of them had them.
Yeah. The high end stuff.
So anyway, that's the way that went. And
But you just went. You didn't go back and forth more than once then.
no, I
Overseas.
mean, no, I just went over there, you know.
Once, and then you
Once,
came back.
and then we did after the war was over with, you know. Well, then we went back, but the way that we did that is the bombers, they went the northern route back through Newfoundland, up that way, you know, back home. But all of our troops went the other way, southern route. So what we did is when we were about from Paris or around there then, and then we flew down to the Rock of Gibraltar. We landed there, and then we went across Africa, Libya, where they had all that trouble recently, you know. Mm-hmm. We landed there, and then we landed over here to another place, and across that there's a big desert over there.
Yeah,
Sahara?
Dakar.
Sahara Desert.
The Sahara. Yeah.
And we were flying 17,000 feet there, about as high as we could go without oxygen. We were just right on the edge. That's how high we could go.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went over here, and then down along the coast to, I think it was Dakar or someplace in there. Liberia, where we were in there, and then we went from there to Ascension Island. We had put in 600-gallon cabin tanks before we started out, so we could get extra mileage, you know.
Yeah.
And so we ended up there from here to the Ascension Island, which is one island in the middle of the Atlantic, and they use it for, you know, refueling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we went from there over to Fortaleza, Brazil, and then up the coast to British Guiana, and there was another one too up there, but I forget what it was. And then from there we eventually went up to Puerto Rico, and then up to probably Florida, and then from there to South Carolina where we dumped our planes, you know. Yeah.
They were all bases along the route? U.S. bases?
No.
They were?
They were foreign bases, but they were friendly. I mean, we landed there, of course, and over in Africa we landed. I remember we landed at a place there, right? You know, in Dakar or whatever it was, Liberia. Yeah. And these black guys would come up there with no shoes, and they had such thick soles on the bottom of their shoes they could run around in that real high heat across the runway. You know. You'd die if you did that. But they were just like shoes on them, you know. But they had nice places to eat and stuff. They were serving us, you know, with nice white tablecloths and really a deal, you know. And then they had out along there, they had banana trees out there sitting there, you know.
Paradise.
And then over in Liberia, up there in Libya, up there, we went in their place. I bought a little pocketbook. I still got it there, and then I was going to go to the bathroom. You know, all they had is a hole in the ground, in the concrete. That's all they had. You had to bend your knees, you know.
Yeah.
You had to be sure your legs were good then.
Yeah.
I had better legs then. My legs are no good now.
No.
That'd be bad.
That'd be a little bit
Bad
hard.
news. I would have had to have one of those colored mammies come in and help. But you know, over in France, you know, they don't care about that stuff. You know, over there, you'd have those outdoor lifts, you know, on the street, you know.
Yeah.
And they're up about here, and you'd be taking a leak and all that. And hey, hi Joe, how's it going today?
Tell me about what you saw at the Eiffel Tower.
Hmm?
Do you remember what you saw at the Eiffel Tower, one of the jets?
Oh, well, yeah, later on, yeah, that was around when, see, we were right there after Paris was liberated, and we saw a lot of stuff there, and then I went across there when we were going to land there, and they still were shining big spotlights at us, you know. They were so bright that it'd brighten up your whole cockpit. You couldn't hardly see it. Was that bright?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we landed there. But anyway, we did. Yeah, I did see a fighter go through under where the Arch of Triumph. No, what do you call it?
Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower.
Oh.
You know how it's built.
How it's
like
built
that,
a little
you
bit
know?
up, yeah.
Like that.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
Really?
Fighter plane.
The jet.
Well, yeah. No, it wasn't a jet. No,
Oh,
it was
wasn't it?
like a Mustang or something.
Oh.
We didn't have
I was going to
jets.
say, jets
No,
weren't
all they
around.
had was German jets. Me-262. That's the first one that came out. You know,
Yeah.
over there. There was one Me-262 that landed at our base. Evidently, the pilot wanted to be caught. I guess he didn't like Germany. I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And we had some B-17 bombers land there too at our base, coming back, you know, and shot up, stuff like that.
Those flew up pretty high.
And I
though.
one time I saw a glider, and some guys that were in it, and they crashed right behind the officers' club. Oh, what a mess. Brain sitting out there, his brain was standing out there, you know, stuff like that. No fun.
But did you fly any other planes or just the C-47s?
Over there, it's basically the C-47. Yeah.
That was all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I flew others, you know, while we were training, you know,
Oh, okay.
but not over there. It was strictly C-47.
Not the fighter, not the Mustangs?
Yeah, right.
So you flew people in their plane besides parachutists, right?
Paratroopers, yeah.
Paratroopers.
Yeah, we dropped paratroopers.
But you had some other entertainers in there too, didn't you? Didn't you?
Oh, well, yeah, there is one time that, you know, we took an orchestra over there. It was Glenn Miller's orchestra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hauled his orchestra over there. I did. Yeah, and we took him to a paratrooper dance from our place, and he was there alive then, you know. But then later on, he went down in the English Channel with another plane. It was a C-47 too, but it wasn't any of ours.
Glenn Miller did?
Yeah, he died in that
Oh, I didn't know that.
plane crash in the sea over the English Channel.
Oh.
And then later on, after the war, I saw Tex Beneke, his singer. He had taken over it, and he was leading the band after that. I saw him over in Phoenix. I saw the Glenn Miller. They still call it Glenn Miller Band,
Right.
but it was operated by Tex Beneke. Yeah,
Huh.
and I saw that too. So we did haul him over there, and then we went to the dance a little bit, but then we had to fly back again. But then we flew them back again, and then, you know, I don't know what happened then after that. They were over there, you know, supporting the troops, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep.
So you used to collect the money from all the different countries that you went to.
I did have some. I did have I can't remember what I did with it now. Maybe I give it to somebody.
I think Sam has it.
Maybe it
probably.
was.
So you used to tape them together.
Yeah, they called it. Well, what did they call that again?
So what did
It
you?
skips my mind what they
Right.
called it.
Yeah, I don't
But
remember.
anyway, that's what you did. If you went, I think, over the dividing line,
The
what do you call
equator.
it? The equator, yeah.
Yeah.
The equator. But then then you could belong to that club.
So couldn't you bring that into certain places to
Well-
show, if I do get free drinks or something like that, if you brought that in?
Yeah, there was something going on, something like that, but I can't remember all the details now. But anyway, that's what it was. It was had to do with what was called the Short Snorter Club. Short Snorter Club.
Short Snorter Club?
That's
Free
what it
drinks.
was.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that's what it was. It was no big deal, but anyway. I did have that, different, money from different places that we went to, And I don't know where that went to either. Maybe it could be that maybe Sam might have some of it.
Mm-hmm. I think
I
so.
know he got some of that stuff. Sam did, but I forget now.
So you were in
What's wrong?
Tucson for a while.
Yeah, I was Tucson. That was for primary training, I guess. Yeah, we were stationed at a base right outside of Tucson there, and that's where they used to have movies, One time,
Yeah, right.
one time I was flying around there. I'll tell you about that one, I guess. And my I didn't know my instructor was up flying too at the time.
Oh,
But I went over there, over where they were showing movies and stuff. I didn't know that they were showing movies, but I knew that they were
Filming.
over there. But I went close by to look at it and stuff. And then when I got back to the base, my flying instructor says, what happened today? He said there was a plane over there over Tucson, and they were filming a Wild Western movie, and here this plane comes shooting in on that Wild Western movie. He says, "Oh," I says, "is that right?" He get me, He saw it. He's having fun with me. I didn't know that. I said, what's this going on? What's going on? But anyway, we had some fun there.
oh boy. Well, that was more C-47 flying?
No, that was PT-13. Private trainer. Primary trainer. 13.
Oh.
Excuse me. PT-22. I'm thinking of BT-13. That was the next plane. PT-22 was that plane.
Oh.
And, anyway, there's another thing that happened too in that plane when I went up. I just, I hadn't given much instruction in loops and stuff yet, But I says, I should be able to do that. So I went down, like that, and come back up, but I didn't pull it back fast enough. I got up like here, and I mushed down my tail for about 1,000 feet, and I went, whop, like that. And my glasses, I had glasses on there, went way out like this and come back.
Oh my God.
I said, well, maybe I better take cool a little bit. So till I get instruction.
Yeah. Oh,
So then
God.
later on I did get instruction.
To get the loop.
I did loops and slow rolls like that, He says, my instructor says, Bergh, he sure is good on a slow roll. He says, it's just like smooth silk. He says, so I guess I was pretty good at that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway, some of the stuff we did,
Yeah. Oh, good.
So you were only in the European tour.
Then after that, we got into basic trainers, BT-13s. They were
Oh.
and they were single engine, but instead of maybe 250, 225, they were 450 horsepower. And they had 2 seats, but they had a sliding thing over here like this.
Okay.
Sliding one like that, you know. And,
Yeah.
That was, you just got in more flying then with bigger
Yeah.
planes, you know. And then the next one was advanced training, and then we had it was a twin engine, of course, AT-17 they call them, AT-17, and it was a Cessna, and but it was a bamboo bomber they called it, made out of bamboo. So, but it was a you know regular twin engine plane,
Yeah.
but it was a light one, you know, for training.
Right.
Which you had to get ready for, because I was put in a multi-engine, they call it, you know, rather than single. I almost went in a single engine, but I didn't, so I went in a multi-engine. So then you get
okay.
split up. See,
Yeah.
if I'd have gone in a single engine, I might have ended up right down there where I am now. There was a, well, I drive by it all the time down there, going to see Mom.
Right.
And to go right by that, it's where they have that international house college, you know, international.
Down in Arizona.
They,
I don't know.
it's a big international, you know, if you want to get in on international big stuff, that's where to go. See?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
that's a big college right there. And that's where they had the primary training school for a single engine. I might have gone there if I'd been thrown in a single engine.
Yeah.
You know, fighters, but I didn't. But it's a big layout there, and they got about maybe half of that area taken up now down there
Oh.
for that college, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we did, and I never went there, but some of them did.
Yeah. But
So-
that was your only tour? Was it just a European tour?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, we were at England for a while, and then we
Yeah.
were based to France,
Right.
and then we operated out of both of them, of course, you know, and going to Germany and France and
Yeah.
Belgium and Holland, whatever, and then later to southern France, and